Hey, what's up guys, MugenLord here, and today we're going to talk about First Descendant. Yes, we'll talk about First Descendant once again, because apparently the developers at Nexon has been listening to the fan, and they decided to give the fans what they want. And what is it? Yes, Jiggle physics. Jiggle physics will be coming to the game, and I definitely just want to give you my thoughts and opinions on this, because this just adds on to what I've been saying that Korean studios has just been delivering this year for the fans. So before we even dive into the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. Now, I know many people have already covered this topic, but I wanted to just add this on to the previous discussion that we had when it comes to Korean studios delivering what the fans want versus what Western studios is just doubling down on ideological narratives and viewpoints. So I wanted to just add on to this with this topic when it comes to this. So let's check out the article here. I think this is pretty interesting and to see where this is all going to go. So it says the First Descendant devs have important news for fans of the RPG shooter. A decision has been made to add the much requested jiggle physics. So let's get into it. The people's voices have evidently been heard. Jiggle physics are coming to the First Descendant, the free-to-play co-op RPG shooter from Nexon, which I admittedly assume had jiggle physics already. Yes, this is the funny part. I'm going to say this. How much you want to bet that Nexon already had jiggle physics ready, but they were pretty much gauging the audience to see how well it was going to respond in the West, which we're going to talk about is because how Western studios or just Western culture in itself and how it depicts women and how it views the sexualization of women is completely different from the East. So to me, it seemed like this is a perfect example of wait and see where the audience and how the audience is going to gravitate towards it, especially on the Western side. And then he probably had a switch ready to click that switch on and just had them jiggle physics out there and ready. But let's move on. A member of the First Descendant development team broke the important news in a recent Discord Q&A, and then probably in the funniest way possible. Hello, it's already past midnight in Korea time. A translated response from this segue here. Those middle of the night Nintendo Twitter announcements to mine. I had a very busy day, so I'm just now checking into the Q&A channel. I may not be able to check infrequently tomorrow either, as I have a packed schedule starting early in the morning. However, I wanted to share some important news, so I decided to come online late tonight. I quote, after a lengthy discussion with the AD today, a decision has been made to add the much requested jiggle physics. This was decided only a short while ago, so the details of when and how it would be implemented in the game are yet to be finalized and will be shared in future updates. I hope this will be a pleasant surprise for our dear successors who have been waiting for it. So yes, this is something that they've been talking about. They've seen what the fans want, and you got to see when it comes to this fan service or when it comes to the nature of the game, it's all about the culture that each game has cultivated. You look at the female character designs, you see the post on Twitter about certain characters. People love those costumes. So you see what type of culture that is cultivated. People who doesn't like the fan service will leave the game. They will leave the game and move to other pastures, and they will retain the culture that was created based on their designs in their philosophy when designing female characters and just designing the game in general. So now that you have your fixed fan base or your stable core audience, now you can give that audience what they want, and that's what they're going to do here. Now, there is something about a statement very formally announced that a decision has been made to add jiggle physics that just makes me laugh. Bear in mind, this news comes to the heels of a more revealing version of the Battle Nun outfit in the First Descendant, so it's pretty clear that the game is only getting hornier with time. Official but not safe for work art link here, adding to the fact that this was evidently much requested. The response of the Discord and Reddit shows that some players are plenty pleased with this direction. Yes, a lot of players are pleased with this. You already see what the nature of this game is. So any player that comes in and is upset about it, then you don't belong here because it's not for you. And what I like about what they're doing is they're blocking out what these naysayers or what these other people are saying when it comes to the fan service. They're only listening to what their core audience is, and this is how developers are always going to win in that regards, and also and earn the trust and earn the monetization that fans are going to sink into this game when they appreciate their fan base, their core audience. So now it says there was other less jiggly info in that Q&A session too. The Descendant Luna is scheduled for a rework in Season 2. For example, there have been plenty of early discussions about adding a higher quality option above Alter for folks with premium hardware. These details, however, were secondary. So what I'm understanding is that, you know, there's probably some other type of, I guess you would say, quality options and that matches like the power of your, you know, your rig, so you be able to see the, I guess you would say, this full potential of it. And I quote, "We gathered to review and discuss the feedback and opinions shared on the Q&A channel. Topics where we covered included server latency." So they just talking about all this other type of stuff, skin creations and jiggle physics and everything like that. And to me, as I said before, I think this is a big win for these developers by giving the fans what they want. And as I said before, there's nothing wrong with jiggle physics, and it's all about knowing your audience and knowing what the fans want. And they had established that by the many different releases of character skins, customizations, and also the depiction of female characters. So gamers already know what they're in for and what they're going to get when stepping into the First Descendant. And as far as jiggle physics is concerned, I just think that jiggle physics isn't bad or wrong at all. So to me, I think this is a positive thing because it's catering to the taste, to the taste of its core audience, and is not being, I guess you would say, no opposing external narratives are coming into the fold that will affect that. This is what the core audience is, and this is how they're going to dive into it. And come on, just look at the nature of Nexon and how they design their characters and what they've done in the past, in their past history and catalog. You just think they're going to just stop now? But yes, I just think this is a good thing. And you also got to understand the cultural differences when it comes to how East and the West, view jiggle physics. Like a perfect example, when it comes to Western studios, they tend to pretty much downplay or criticize how it's depicted, especially when it comes to games like Dead or Alive or Black Desert Online. You got to understand, when it comes to Dead or Alive, it's always been something that people in the West had looked down upon, and this game has never had been taken seriously at all. And it's a sad thing because I love Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive to me is my favorite 3D fighting game of all time because it's more than just hot chicks and jiggle physics. The game has a layer of depth that can be found within the game, and I love the level designs. The levels itself within Dead or Alive are characters to itself because certain levels in its terrain and the obstacles that's within the environments itself give it edge to particular characters in their move sets, and that's what I loved about it. And plus, Dead or Alive was just a display of the technological power in its graphics as well. I look forward to every DOA release, and for some strange reason, when it comes to our culture here in the West, where it says that it respects women and they want women to be comfortable in their own skin, and it's empowering when it comes to women revealing, their bodies and everything, and it says to respect women, but then when they see a game like Dead or Alive or see a game like Black Desert, you have people on social media would sit there and clown and tease or call it, porn, or they would say that, we can't take a game such as Dead or Alive seriously within the FGC or within the fighting game, community itself because of the jiggle physics and, how the women are depicted. So let me get this straight. You're saying you're for women, you respect women, and women should be taken seriously, but yet you can't take a game such as Dead or Alive seriously because of the fact of jiggle physics and how the women are depicted. Like which argument are you for? Which argument are you advocating for? And also, when you look at games like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where there's a plenty of videos out there where gamers talked about Pyra and Mithra, how they couldn't take the game seriously. They couldn't take Pyra or Mithra or any of the female characters seriously because of how they are depicted when it comes to sexualization. And that's what always confuses me. You talk about how you respect women and women should have the choice of how, they want to represent themselves or objectify themselves, but then at the same time, you're saying that you don't take them seriously because of how they are designed. That's where the hypocrisy comes from. It just doesn't make sense. When it comes to the East, they frame jiggle physics as far as something that's fun. It's a fun thing. It's something that's not taken seriously, and plus it also gives characters personality. Yes, Jiggle Physics does give characters personality of how certain Jiggle Physics are pretty much represented on that character to express that character. It's all about character expression. The more you're able to express a character, given the tools that's given by the developers, then it makes that character much more rememberable. And also there's also a balance between realism and stylism. And I think when it comes to Eastern developers, they're focused more on style rather than trying to be realistic. And I think that's the appeal to Korean studios and Japanese studios and just Eastern studios in general. They're not trying to go for realism. They're just trying to go for stylism, something that fits their designs, fits their imagination or whatever their philosophy are when trying to create the world and create its characters that inhabit these worlds to be able to tell their stories. In order to be able to do that, they have to create this stylized version of characters rather than trying to pretty much keep everything realistic. Because when you have realism, then you have to remain in the realm of realism. Then you really can't go out and explore or push the boundaries to certain gameplay designs and methodologies when it comes to trying to stay within the realm or I guess you say the box or the frame of realism. And I think, in my personal opinion, I choose Eastern side of depiction of characters and their design philosophies, which I enjoy the most. And then also when it comes to Jiggle Physics, let's just be honest here. It monetizes much better. People are willing to sink much more money when you have something like Jiggle Physics and things that give the fans what they want. People would sink money and they feel as though that, hey, I got my money's worth out of this. This company, we voiced our concerns, or we voiced what we wanted from the game. Developers gave us what we wanted, and now to pretty much reward these developers, I'm going to give them my money. So this is pretty much a lot of monetization that's going to come from this. More people going to dive into the game. As I said before, I see a bunch of tweets, I see a bunch of gameplay to where the design of these female characters is just crazy. And also the male characters. They made the male characters, handsome and masculine and badasses. And as I said before, the female characters, they're also badasses, but they're hyper feminine, just like the males are hyper masculine, and they bathe in their femininity and sexuality, which pulls in that demographic of males. Because let's be honest here, most gamers are males, and despite what the statistics try to say about females is 50-50 between males and females, which is not true, because when you boil it down to the games, most play mobile games and things like that. But when it comes to games like this, a lot of guys is the core audience of this, despite you do have some female players who enjoy sexualized characters as well, which we talked about in the previous video that you need to go check out. But I'm all for this. And like I said before, Korean studios are continuing to win. They're just winning and winning and winning, especially in 2024. And I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen and how the gaming landscape is going to be moving in 2025. It's definitely going to be interesting. But that pretty much wraps up this video. I definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about all of this? With First Descendant now going to implement Jiggle Physics to a game that already oozes with fan service. I can't wait to see the debates, the backlash, and the culture war go back and forth on this issue or topic itself. So if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe button for more gaming content here on this channel. This is MugenLord, sign off. I'll see you game fiends later. Peace out.